I remember sitting at home watching the Dallas Mavericks take on the Golden State Warriors. Dallas was ranked number 1 and had the best regular season record that season, and the Golden State Warriors were ranked number 8. Golden State ended up pulling off the miraculous upset of the 8-1 seed, which hardly ever happens in the NBA. It was an amazing feat, and everybody in the NBA, fans and everybody, went crazy for the upset and thought it was a miracle. It reminded me of the NCAA March Madness tournament where upsets happen all the time and it brings in all the excitement of fan base. Well, the NBA playoffs are broken and they need fixed. I'm going to show you the facts, why we need to change the system, and how we need to change the system. In the 2007-2008 season, the first thing you notice is the fact that Golden State Warriors had a regular season record of 48-34. That is a very good record, and most times that's good enough to get you to about the 5th seed in the NBA playoffs on one side or the other. And then if you look at the East, you'll see that the 8th ranked seed that made it into the playoffs had a record of 37-45. Now, a lot of times in the NBA, we think that a 500 team has a chance of making playoffs, and anything below 500 shouldn't be able to go. And that year, we actually took out Golden State, who would have been actually about the 4th seed in the eastern side, and they didn't even make the playoffs because they're in the West. Then if you look at the 2007-2008 seed, or the next year, 2008-2009, you'll see again Phoenix is the number 9th, and they are not making the playoffs in the West with a record of 46-36, which would have been good enough to make it to the 5th seed in the East. So you keep seeing a pattern of the West seeds having better records and not all making it to the playoffs from the East teams, that still we have another team in there that's not even 500 going to the playoffs to get crushed by Cleveland. And the next year, we had it happen again with Houston, a 42-40 record, missing out on the playoffs on the western side. Then on the eastern side, Chicago made it with a 41-41 record. Now, breaking 500, and it's only a 1-game difference, so this year it wasn't as big a dramatic effect as usual, but it still shows that we're not getting the best teams that we possibly can into the playoffs. The system needs change for a couple different reasons. One is that we need to make it so that the teams that do the best and work the hardest during the regular season can make it to the playoffs and have that chance at the championship that they deserve. We don't want teams that aren't even making 500 winning 50% of their games to go to the playoffs where we know they're just going to get killed by their first-round opponent, who's one of the best teams there is. Another reason is that the teams that are below 500 are now taken out of the lottery draft and are going to have worse picks in the first round of the next year's draft than they would if they were to miss the playoffs. So that way we're not even making it so that our bad teams are getting better players, and it's going to turn out that the good team that missed the playoffs in the West is actually going to draft a better player and keep making the West the stronger side instead of evening out the sides. And also, just for the more competitive games, we need it to be like the NCAA tournament where you never know what's going to happen, anybody can win, and that's what makes it exciting. It brings in fans and entertainment of people wanting to watch instead of people just expecting so-and-so to win each round and not wanting to watch until the finals game. The ways to fix it, in my mind, are to turn it into a 16-team all-league bracket. We don't want to take Western Conference, Eastern Conference. We're going to go 1 through 16 throughout the whole league and put them all on a bracket. Now, when we do this, we still want to take it so division gets home. Division record winners still get their home court. There's 6 divisions in the whole NBA, so you have 6 teams guaranteed the home court advantage, and then the next 2 highest records will also get home court advantage, and those 8 teams will play the bottom 8 teams and make it as a regular playoff. This way, we're getting the best games, and we can still have it where we have a 1 seed playing this 8 seed, or a 1 seed playing a 16 seed, however we want to do it, and they'd still have it so it could be a competitive game. We'd have 2 teams, both over 500, who, if the ball bounces one guy's way or the other, the call goes one guy's way or the other, it's going to make a difference in upset occurring or not happening. So as you can see, there's a lot of different reasons why it could be changed, how it could be changed, and it's caused a lot of debate. But the main issue is the fact that it needs to be changed. You can see through many different games and years how the NCAA tournament has brought in all kinds of fan base and actually make one of the greatest profits there is. And the NBA playoffs are not making the money they could. If the NBA would become a more competitive playoff bracket, we could see a lot better chances of them taking that next step and getting closer to the NFL and the NCAA and making that revenue-gaining entrance.